The warning appears without explanation, scrawled in crimson ink across a crumpled napkin that lands in my lap while my husband Richard conducts business on his phone. I'm settled in the airport lounge and our eyes lock, mine widening in confusion, hers burning with urgency. She leans close, her whisper barely audible above the terminal's din. Trust me, don't take this flight. Don't go with him. Within the hour, I'll face an impossible choice between believing a complete stranger or the man who promised to cherish me until death parts us. But first, if you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. We love discovering how far our stories travel across the globe. Chicago O'Hare International Airport thrums with Friday morning energy. I wait in the VIP lounge, my head resting against the supple leather of my Louis Vuitton bag. Richard's gift on our 5th wedding anniversary. 5 years of marriage. According to him, this Miami getaway represents a chance to rekindle our connection. What I don't know yet is that someone has already planned to sever that connection permanently. Richard approaches with 2 steaming cups, his blue eyes, typically so warm and inviting, appearing strangely detached. Over recent months, I've cataloged subtle shifts in his behavior. Phone calls answered behind closed doors, text messages hastily deleted when I draw near, an unfamiliar perfume occasionally clinging to his collar. I've attributed everything to stress. The corporate merger at his firm has consumed his every waking hour. "Everything all right, Allison?" he asks, extending a coffee toward me. "You look pale." "Just exhausted," I reply, deliberately avoiding eye contact. The napkin burns like hot coal in my pocket, my fingers trembling against the ceramic cup. I need to use the restroom. Richard nods absently, already absorbed in whatever message illuminates his screen. There it is again, that furtive glance, as if he's terrified I might glimpse what he's reading. Inside the bathroom, I lock myself in the stall, my breath coming in ragged gasps. With shaking hands, I extract the napkin from my pocket and unfold it with extreme care. Additional words cover the interior. Your name appears on a $5 million life insurance policy purchased 2 weeks ago. You're meant to fall from a hotel balcony. He has a lover. Meet me at the main food court in 10 minutes. I have evidence. My name is Jenna. Nausea overwhelms me instantly. This can't be real. Richard plotting my murder. The absurdity nearly makes me laugh. Yet something deep within me turns to ice. The small inconsistencies, the concealment, the spontaneous trips. And why had he insisted so adamantly on this Miami vacation when I'd suggested postponing? I splashed cold water across my face, confronting my reflection. Who is this terrified woman staring back? I must pull myself together. This could be an elaborate hoax, perhaps someone attempting blackmail. But what if it's genuine? Walking slowly from the bathroom, I observe Richard from a distance. He's on the phone again, voice lowered, body angled away from the crowd. His gestures radiate tension. Instead of returning to our seats, I navigate toward the food court, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. I scan the space, searching for flight attendant. She's positioned at a corner table. Though no longer in her airline uniform, I recognize her face immediately. Our eyes connect, and she gives a subtle nod, beckoning me closer. "Mrs. Allison," she says as I take the seat across from her. "I'm Jenna. I used to work the same flight route your husband takes to Houston regularly." "How do you know my name? What's happening?" I whisper urgently. She glances around nervously before opening a folder containing documents. "Your husband and I, we were involved. It lasted 6 months. Everything ended when he met Isabella, his new business partner. The ground seems to dissolve beneath me. Dizziness crashes over me, and I grip the table's edge for stability. I'm not here to destroy your marriage," Jenna continues quickly. "I'm here because I overheard conversations, things that absolutely terrified me." She slides a document across the table. This is a copy of the insurance policy. $5 million with him listed as sole beneficiary, taken out just 2 weeks ago. I examine the paper, recognizing Richard's signature immediately. My throat constricts painfully. "And this," she says, presenting her phone, "is a recording I capture a conversation between him and Isabella. I was at his apartment when they arrived unexpectedly. They never saw me. I pressed play with trembling fingers. Richard's voice flooded my consciousness, discussing the perfect accident and how no one would suspect anything after all those happy social media posts. Isabella's laugh follows, inquiring about their plans for spending the money afterward. Richard mentions purchasing property in Barcelona. Scalding tears cascade down my cheeks as the audio plays. It's unmistakably his voice, my husband, the man I believed I knew completely, coldly strategizing about eliminating me. Our flight departs in 40 minutes. I manage, my voice barely functioning. What should I do? Jenna places her hand over mine. You cannot board that plane. Perhaps pretend you're ill. Anything to prevent this trip. That's when I spot Richard weaving to the main terminal, scanning the crowd, undoubtedly searching for me. Our eyes meet for a fraction of a second, and I watch his expression transform. The facade crumbles. Surprise registers first, followed by irritation, then something cold I've never witnessed before. He's coming this way. I whisper, terror gripping me. What do? Jenna squeezes my hand firmly. Be strong. Fake illness. Whatever it requires. Do not get on that airplane. Richard approaches rapidly, his features now arranged into an expression of concern so convincing that momentarily I question everything I've just discovered. Allison, I've been searching everywhere for you. We're running late, he says, eyeing Jenna with curiosity. Who's your friend? I draw a deep breath. The next few minutes will determine whether I live or die. The human mind possesses remarkable capabilities during crisis. As Richard awaits my response, an unexpected calm settles over me, a clarity I've never experienced. Richard, this is Jenna. We met while getting coffee. I reply, forcing a smile. I was feeling lightheaded, and she generously offered me a place to sit. Jenna nods, her face a mask of polite neutrality. The anguished woman who revealed my death sentence minutes earlier has vanished entirely. Pleasure to meet you, Richard says, extending his hand. Jenna shakes it briefly. His eyes scrutinize her, assessing whether she represents a threat. Apparently satisfied, he redirects his attention to me. Dizzy? Are you well enough to travel? He asks, his concerned tone now sounding like the cruelest deception. I place my hand on my stomach, feigning discomfort. Actually, I feel worse now. I think something I ate at breakfast disagreed with me. Sweetheart, I'm sure it will pass, Richard insists, placing his hand on my back. His touch, once comforting, now makes my skin crawl. It's probably just pre-flight anxiety. Once we're airborne, you'll feel better. I detect the firmness underlying his gentle words. He won't accept canceling this trip easily. His plan is already in motion. I don't know Richard. I genuinely feel sick. I moan, bending over slightly. I think I need medical attention. There's a doctor available at the hotel if necessary, he replies, a sharp edge creeping into his voice. Come on, they're calling final boarding. I look desperately toward Jenna, who remains silent but whose eyes transmit messages of encouragement. I'm not going to make it, I announce, standing abruptly. I'm sorry. I'm going to. Then, in an Oscar-worthy performance, I allow my body to collapse onto the food court floor. My fall produces a desired effect. People turn to stare. Employees rush toward me. Richard, caught completely off guard, doesn't have time to catch me. She's fainted. Someone call for help, voices shout. I keep my eyes closed as I feel multiple hands assisting me. Worried voices surround me. Richard calls my name repeatedly, his voice mixing shock with frustration. Mrs. Allison, can you hear me? A new voice emerges, presumably one of the airport paramedics. I open my eyes slowly, feigning disorientation. What? What happened? You fainted, ma'am. We're transporting you to the airport medical facility for evaluation. Richard is beside me, holding my hand too tightly. I don't think that's necessary. She just needs water and something sweet. I'm sorry, sir, but it's standard protocol. We cannot clear a passenger who's fainted for flight boarding without proper medical evaluation. I observe the muscle twitching in Richard's jaw, a sign of contained rage I know intimately. He's losing control of the situation. Richard, I murmur, playing the fragile wife. I don't think I can travel today. We'll figure this out, darling, he replies, his tone forced and smooth. Let the doctors examine you first. In the infirmary, following a basic examination, the on-duty physician is firm. Ma'am, your blood pressure is unstable. I strongly recommend against flying today. I suggest you see your cardiologist as soon as possible. Richard's expression becomes a contained storm. While the doctor makes notes on a clipboard, he leans close and whispers in my ear. This is ridiculous. Allison, you were perfectly fine an hour ago. I'm sorry, Richard. I can't control when illness strikes. I answer, maintaining a low, weak voice. Are you traveling with her? The doctor asks Richard. I'm her husband, he replies curtly. Well, sir, your wife is in no condition to fly today. I strongly suggest rescheduling your trip. I watch Richard's plan disintegrate before his eyes. He runs his hand through his hair. Another frustration gesture I recognize well. Right, I'll handle it, he says, stepping from the room to make calls. The moment he leaves, I grab my phone, my hand shaking so violently I nearly drop it. I quickly access my banking apps. I need to assess how much money I have available in case I need a run. I rapidly transfer the maximum amount permitted to a secondary account Richard doesn't know exists. It's not substantial, but it might buy me several days. When Richard returns, his face has composed itself again. I managed to reschedule for Sunday, he announces. 2 days of rest, and you'll be good as new. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. I nod weakly. 2 days. I have 48 hours. 2 days to plan my escape, accumulate evidence, and decide how I'll confront the man who vowed to love me but is now orchestrating my death. In the taxi heading home, Richard remains silent, typing furiously on his phone, probably updating Isabella about the modified plans, I think bitterly. The city blurs past the window as people conduct their normal lives while mine crumbles. Do you think it's serious? He finally asks without looking up from the screen. I don't know. I hope not. I reply, observing him closely. Is this genuine concern, or is he merely calculating whether my health problem will derail his plans? We arrive at our apartment in Lincoln Park. The luxury condominium that once felt like sanctuary now resembles a gilded prison. The walls that witnessed our love now conceal a deadly secret. Richard opens the door and enters first, dropping the suitcases in the entryway. I'll make you some tea, he says, walking toward the kitchen. I stand there, watching this man who had become a stranger. How many times has he planned my murder while serving me tea? How many nights have we slept side by side while he dreamed about my insurance payout? My phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. It's Jenna. Meet tomorrow. 10 a.m. Woodfield Mall Food Court. I have more information. Be careful. I delete the message immediately. Richard returns with a steaming mug. Chamomile. It will calm your nerves. I stare at the golden liquid. Is it just tea or something more sinister? No. He wouldn't risk anything at home. The plan was to fall from the hotel balcony. A tragic accident far from the scrutinizing eyes of neighbors. Thanks. I say, but I don't drink it. I place the mug on the table. I think I'll rest for a while. Good idea, he replies, grabbing a jacket. I need to handle a few matters at the office, since we didn't travel. I shouldn't be long. Probably meeting Isabella, I think darkly. The moment the door closes, I sprint to Richard's office. I need more evidence. I need to understand the full scope of this conspiracy. His laptop sits on the desk, but it's password protected. I try several obvious combinations. Our anniversary, his birthday, with no success. Frustrated, I begin searching the drawers. In the back of one, I discover a folder concealed behind old documents. My heart nearly stops when I open it. Everything is there. The complete insurance policy, a purchase agreement for a house in Barcelona, Spain, and the item that makes my blood run cold, a detailed study on fatal accidents involving hotel balconies, printed from the internet with handwritten notes in the margins. It's real. All of it is horrifyingly real. The night stretches endlessly. locked in our bedroom. I pretend to sleep when Richard arrives home. The scent of women's perfume clings to his shirt as he lies down beside me. I remain perfectly still, controlling my breathing while he checks messages on his phone. Minutes later, his soft snoring indicates he's asleep. I slide from bed soundlessly, grab my phone, and lock myself in the bathroom. With trembling hands, I open my email and send photos of the documents I found in myself. I need backup, something stored in the cloud, beyond his reach. Then I message Jenna. I found more proof. The complete policy and plans for Barcelona. The reply comes almost instantly. Excellent. Bring everything tomorrow. You'll need it for the police. Police. The word echoes in my mind. Reporting my own husband for attempted murder. How did we reach this point? I remember our wedding 3 years ago in that seaside chapel. Richard crying when he saw me at the altar. Was it all performance? Or did he change gradually, seduced by money and another woman? I return to bed, staying at the very edge, as far from him as possible. The man breathing peacefully beside me is no longer my husband. He is my potential executioner. I wake with a jolt at 6 a.m., not remembering falling asleep. Richard still sleeps soundly. I rise quietly and head to the kitchen to make coffee. I must maintain normalcy, avoid raising any suspicions. As the water heats, I gaze out the window of our 20th floor apartment. The view of Lincoln Park is stunning. The city stretching toward the horizon, the lake glimmering in the distance. A view many would pay millions to possess. Richard would pay with my life. You're up early. His voice makes me jump. He's standing in the kitchen doorway, hair disheveled, eyes watchful. I couldn't sleep well. I reply, pouring coffee into 2 mugs. How are you feeling today? He asks, accepting the mug I offer. Better. I lie. I think it was just exhaustion. That's wonderful. I'll reschedule our flight for tomorrow, then. No, I exclaim too loudly. He raises an eyebrow, surprised. I continue more calmly. Let's wait until Monday. I want to check with my doctor first, just to be certain. Richard studies me for a long moment, as if attempting to determine whether I'm concealing something. Whatever you want, he finally replies. But we can't postpone indefinitely. The hotel is non-refundable, and we've already paid for 2 expensive days. I understand. I say, sipping coffee to mask my nervousness. I promise I'll decide by tomorrow. He nods, seemingly satisfied. I have a 9 o'clock meeting today. Unexpected issues from the canceled trip. Perfect. This provides time to meet Jenna without fabricating excuses. Richard leaves at 8:30 after a quick kiss on my forehead. A kiss that once signified affection and now only fills me with revulsion. The moment I hear the door close, I rush to shower and dress. I choose inconspicuous clothes. Jeans, a black t-shirt, and a baseball cap to partially obscure my face. I place the folder with documents in my bag and hurry out. In the elevator, I encounter our neighbor, Ms. Peterson. Allison, I thought you and Richard were traveling. I had a last-minute health issue. I explain quickly. Oh, what a shame, she comments. Richard seemed so excited about this trip. He was discussing it in the elevator yesterday. Said it would be unforgettable. Unforgettable. A shiver races down my spine. I arrive at Woodfield Mall 20 minutes early, selecting a table in the food court with clear views of all entrances where I can monitor for Richard or anyone suspicious. Jenna arrives precisely at 10 o'clock. She's wearing jeans and a simple blouse, her hair in a ponytail. She looks like an ordinary person, not someone entangled in a murder conspiracy. You came, she says, sitting across from me. Did you bring the documents? I slide the folder across the table. Jenna opens it quickly, scanning the contents. This is even worse than I imagined, she mutters. This man is meticulous. I can't believe this is happening. I say, my voice breaking. Why would he do this? We have sufficient money. $5 million is never enough for people like him and Isabella. Jenna answers bitterly. Besides, there's a practical angle. A divorce will be messy, splitting assets. Your death solves everything instantaneously. I swallow hard, Nausea washing over me. What do I do now? Go to the police? Jenna bites her lip, contemplating. Technically, he hasn't attempted anything yet. We have circumstantial evidence, the policy, the Barcelona plans, the search history. It's compelling to us, but a skilled lawyer would dismantle it all. So I'm just trapped, waiting for him to try murdering me so I can obtain better proof? Not necessarily. Jenna hesitates. I have a friend, Michael, ex-cop, now a private investigator. He can help us construct a stronger case. How? We can record Richard, get him to discuss the plan somehow. The idea of confronting Richard terrifies me. But what alternative do I have? Can I trust you, Jenna? I ask suddenly. How do I know you're not manipulating me for reasons I don't understand? Her eyes meet mine, firm and direct. Because I've been in your position, Allison, not with Richard, but with another man. Nobody believed me until it was too late. I don't want the same thing happening to you. Something in the intensity of her gaze convinces me. When can I meet this Michael? This afternoon, 3 o'clock, my apartment. She writes the address on paper. Come alone and make certain you're not followed. Just then, my phone buzzes. A message from Richard. Meeting ended early. Heading home. We need to talk. My blood turns to ice. Go, Jenna says urgently. Act normal. I'll see you at 3. I rush from the mall, nearly stumbling on the escalator. I hail a taxi immediately and tell the driver to hurry. Throughout the entire ride, my mind races. What if Richard discovered my suspicions? What if someone observed us at the mall? The taxi deposits me at my building entrance 5 minutes before Richard arrives. I race to the elevator, my legs trembling. When I enter the apartment, I run to the bathroom and splash water on my face, attempting to calm my breathing. I hear the key in the door. I'm in the kitchen pouring a random glass of juice to appear busy. Richard walks in, smiling. A smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Hi, darling. Miss me? That smile, there's something different about it. Something calculated that I never noticed in 5 years. But now it stands out like a spotlight. How could I have been so blind? Of course, I reply, forcing a smile as I offer him the juice. Was the meeting productive? Richard tosses his briefcase on the sofa and loosens his tie. More or less. Isabella thinks we should postpone the merger, but I disagree. Isabella. Hearing him say her name so casually makes me sick. The woman he plans to spend my insurance money with after I accidentally fall from a balcony. You seem tense, Allison. Richard comments, walking closer. His fingers touch my face in a caress that once comforted me and now makes me recoil. Still not feeling well. I'm worried about these dizzy spells. I lie. I made an appointment with Dr. Armstrong for Monday. Monday? He frowns. I thought we were rescheduling the trip for Sunday. I think it's better to wait for test results. I insist, pulling away subtly. I don't want to feel sick again during the trip. I see frustration flash across his face, quickly replaced by an understanding expression. Richard was always skilled at concealing his emotions. How many lies had he told me with that same sincere face? Of course, your health comes first, he agrees, picking up his phone. I'll call the hotel and see if we can reschedule for next week. While he's on the phone, I turn to the sink, pretending to wash dishes. My mind works frantically. I need to leave here to meet Jenna and Michael. I need a plan. Reschedule for next Friday, Richard announces, ending the call. Perfect timing after your appointment. 7 more days. 7 days to gather sufficient evidence or find a permanent escape from this nightmare. Thanks for understanding. I say, attempting to sound natural. I'm going to rest for a bit. I still feel weak. Go ahead. I have some emails to answer. I walk to the bedroom and close the door, lying on the bed. The clock reads 12:30 p.m. I still have 2.5 hours until the meeting. How will I leave without raising suspicion? My phone buzzes. A message from my friend Jessica. Hey, are you better? Heard you felt sick at the airport. Want some company? Jessica, my salvation. I reply quickly. Much better. Thanks. I'd love coffee today. Can you do 2:30? The response comes in seconds. Sure, your place? No. Let's meet at the cafe by the big bookstore. I need to buy a book anyway. Perfect. I breathe a sigh of relief. Now I have a legitimate excuse to leave. I rest for about an hour, pretending to be asleep when Richard opens the door to check on me. Then I take a long shower and choose casual clothes, jeans, t-shirt, sneakers. Nothing suggesting a secret meeting with my husband's ex-mistress and a private investigator. At 2:15, I leave the bedroom. Richard is in the office, the door partially open. I knock lightly. Richard, I'm going to meet Jessica for coffee. She heard I was sick and is worried. He looks up from his computer screen, evaluating me. Are you certain you're well enough to go out? I thought you were resting. I'm better now. And Jessica always cheers me up. He nods slowly. All right, don't be too long. I was thinking of ordering that pizza you like for dinner. Perfect. I smile, ignoring the pang of pain at the thought this might be our last normal dinner. I'll be back before 6. I leave quickly before he can ask more questions. In the elevator, I send Jessica a message confirming our meeting, then one to Jenna, on my way. I take a taxi and ask the driver to drop me 2 blocks before Jenna's address. I walk the remaining distance, constantly glancing over my shoulder, paranoid about being followed. The apartment is in a discreet building in Wicker Park. I ring the bell, my heart pounding. Jenna opens the door. Behind her, a middle-aged man with graying hair and a posture that screams military training watches me intently. Get in quickly, Jenna says, checking the empty hallway before closing the door. Allison, this is Michael. Michael extends his hand. His grip is firm, confident. Mrs. Allison. Jenna explained your situation. I'm very sorry you're experiencing this. Thanks for helping me. I reply, still uncertain about trusting complete strangers. What can we do? Please sit down. Michael gestures to the sofa. I've analyzed the documents Jenna showed me. The situation is serious, but we need to be strategic. I sit, my hands trembling slightly. What do you suggest? Michael opens a laptop. First, we document everything we have, the insurance policy, the documents for the Barcelona house, the searches on balcony accidents. It's strong circumstantial evidence, but not conclusive. He looks at me directly. We need a confession. How do we obtain that? I ask, by recording a conversation where he reveals his intentions. Michael holds up a small device the size of a button. This is a high-sensitivity microphone. We can conceal it in your clothes. I swallow hard. You want me to confront Richard? To accuse him? Not directly, Jenna interjects. That would be too dangerous. We need to be more subtle. Michael nods. Exactly. I suggest an indirect approach. The trip being rescheduled for next week is perfect. You can mention that you spoke to the insurance agent about some policy details. Say you found it unusual to increase the value so substantially in such a short time frame. Observe how he reacts. If he gets defensive or attempts to explain, keep probing, Michael continues. Ask about plans for after the trip. Casually mention Barcelona as a destination you two could visit someday. The idea of putting myself at risk like this is terrifying, but I understand the logic. What if he simply denies everything? Denial is also a revealing reaction, Michael explains, especially if he becomes nervous or irritated. His tone of voice, body language, everything counts. Jenna sits beside me. Allison, we know it's frightening, but it's safer to obtain proof while he still thinks you don't suspect anything. And what about Isabella? I ask. She's involved too. One thing at a time, Michael replies. Once we have evidence against Richard, we can focus on her. She'll probably attempt to save herself and incriminate him even further. I'm silent for a moment, weighing the options. I think about the man I loved for 5 years, the promises we made, the memories we built. How did we reach this point? Is there another option? I finally ask. You can report him now, Michael says honestly, but with the current evidence. The police will probably just conduct initial questioning. He'll deny everything, hire a skilled lawyer, and the investigation could drag on indefinitely. And meanwhile, he'll know you discovered him, and he might He stops, not wanting to complete the obvious thought. He might try something more direct. I finish, feeling a chill. Michael nods gravely. Unfortunately, yes. Jenna squeezes my hand. We're here to help, Allison. You're not alone. I take a deep breath. Okay, let's do it. But how do I guarantee my safety while we try to gather more proof? I have to return home. Sleep beside him. That's crucial, Michael agrees. From now on, some basic rules. Don't eat or drink anything he offers you directly. Keep your phone with you at all times. Avoid situations where you're alone in dangerous places like balconies or stairs. He picks up another device. This is a panic button. Press it for 3 seconds in case of emergency. It's connected to my phone. I'll be there in 15 minutes, no matter the time. I accept a small device, a mixture of gratitude and fear washing over me. And there's one more thing, Michael says, hesitating briefly. We need to consider the worst-case scenario. If Richard suspects you know, he might attempt to accelerate the plan. What do you mean? We need to have an escape plan ready, a place he can stay that he doesn't know about, sufficient money for a few weeks, essential documents. The reality of my situation hits me like a physical blow. I might have to abandon my home, my life, everything I know just to survive. I'll take care of that today. I reply firmly. Jenna opens a drawer and removes a small box. Here's the microphone. Attach it to a piece of clothing you'll wear tonight, under the collar of a blouse, for example. The battery lasts 72 hours. What about the files I took from the office? He might notice they're missing. You photographed everything, correct? Michael asks. Then we can return them. It's better if he doesn't realize you found them. I look at the clock. 4:30 p.m. I need to return soon. When do we meet again? Tomorrow, same time, Jenna replies. We'll bring the equipment to record the main conversation about the trip. Before I leave, Michael gives me one more piece of advice. Allison, the most important thing now is to act natural. Any drastic change in your behavior could alert him. Try to maintain your routine, as difficult as it is. I nod, knowing it will be the hardest performance of my life. On the way back, I meet Jessica at the bookstore as planned. I purchase a random book to support my story, and we chat for a few minutes. She notices I'm on edge, but attributes it to my recent illness. I arrive home at 5:45 p.m., carrying the new book and the crushing weight of my secret. The microphone is concealed in the collar of the blouse I'll wear to dinner. Richard is on the sofa, casually watching TV. Hey, sweetheart, how is Jessica? Good. I reply, trying to sound normal. Did you order the pizza yet? Not yet. I was waiting for you. I place my bag in the bedroom, discreetly stashing the panic button in my nightstand drawer. Then I go to the bathroom and change my blouse, ensuring the microphone is well hidden. When I return to the living room, I find Richard opening a bottle of wine. I thought we should celebrate, he says, pouring 2 glasses. Celebrate what? I ask, my heart accelerating. He smiles, handing me a glass. Our time together. We've been so busy lately. We barely talk. I accept the glass, but don't drink. You're right. We have been distant. Then a toast. He raises his glass. To us. I fake a small sip, watching him over the rim of the glass. Is the wine contaminated, or am I just being paranoid? I'll order the pizza, he says, grabbing his phone. I take the opportunity to discreetly pour some of my wine into the potted plant beside the sofa. During dinner, I attempt to act normal. We discuss trivial things, the new book I bought, a movie we want to see, plans for the weekend. You seem distant, Richard comments suddenly. Are you certain you're okay? Just tired, I reply, and worried about the sudden illness. Richard studies me for a moment. You know, I've been thinking, what if it's not just stress? What if it's something more permanent? Like what? He smiles, taking my hand. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it was a baby? The piece of pizza stops halfway in my mouth. A baby? He's suggesting I'm pregnant, while planning to murder me. Does this man's cruelty have no limits? I don't think it's that. I reply, trying to control my voice. My cycle is normal. You never know, he insists, stroking my hand. We could get a test tomorrow. I nod vaguely, unable to continue this sick conversation. After dinner, Richard suggests we watch a movie. We sit on the sofa, his arm around me. Every touch makes my skin crawl, but I force myself not to pull away. This movie has an amazing scene, Richard comments casually as we watch a thriller. A fall from a tall building. The director shot it from an angle that really makes you feel the vertigo. My blood runs cold. Is this an innocent comment, or is he testing me? I don't really like scenes like that. I reply, they make me feel sick. Richard laughs softly. Vertigo is a strange thing, isn't it? Just one moment of imbalance, and it's all over. The microphone on my blouse is capturing every word, every veiled insinuation. Later, in bed, I pretend to be asleep while Richard showers. I hear the water running, then the sound of him checking his phone, probably messages from Isabella. When he finally gets in bed and falls asleep, I allow myself to cry silently. Tears stream down my face as I stare at the ceiling, thinking about how my life transformed into a nightmare in less than 24 hours. A stranger is sleeping beside me, a man planning my death while discussing babies and toasting to our future. Sunday morning arrives gray and overcast, matching my mood. I wake before Richard, watching him sleep. He looks so normal, so peaceful. How can someone conceal so much darkness behind such an ordinary face? I rise quietly and go to the kitchen. As I make coffee, I think about everything that has changed. Yesterday morning, I was still living in ignorance, believing I had a solid marriage. Now every minute is an exhausting performance, a deadly game. Richard appears in the kitchen, hair tousled, a sleepy smile on his face. Good morning, love. He comes up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist. I suppress the urge to pull away.